Okay, so as I mentioned on Instagram, I said I wanted to do a full-blown update video, and here I am doing that now. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, follow me on Instagram. But also, I did update my pregnancy issues, or where I'm at in my pregnancy right now, and the complications that I'm currently facing. So my last update, I let you guys know that I was back in the hospital due to what's called an incompetent cervix. And as you can see, I'm no longer in the hospital, but I'll get to that in a minute as to where I am and why. So let's backtrack a ton. Like, I'm talking a ton because I feel like I need to explain the full picture to fully understand where I am mentally and emotionally with what's going on. So I'll try my best to make it quick. I've mentioned it in past videos, my last pregnancy ended in an emergency C-section and was a life-threatening situation for both myself and my daughter. Thankfully, we both made it and we both did just fine. What happened in that scenario was what's called a placenta abruption, more specifically a silent abruption, which means I had no common symptoms or like indications that that's what was happening. And so literally by the grace of God, universe, whatever you believe in, we made it. And I'll try and find whatever video it is that I fully explain what happened there and like tag it so I don't have to repeat the whole story. But basically, when your placenta detaches, your child no longer is connected to you, therefore having no lifeline. So it all happened really quickly, and everything worked out the way it did for the best. And we survived. However, ever since then, I never expected to have another child. One being terrifying, didn't want to do that again. Two being I was fully fulfilled with my two daughters. And third being myself and their father, we split up. So I never really even considered being with anybody else. I accepted life as just me, my girls, and I was happy. It's what it was going to be and whatever. Clearly, that's not where life led me. So here we are in this situation. I probably touch on another video again, how me and Anthony kind of reconnected. We used to date when we were like, I think 18 or something like that, like back in the day. Didn't speak for like 13 years, reconnected, hung out, started dating, and here we are. Quick, short description. Along the lines of dating, it all started supposed to be very casual, did not go that way, but the topic of children was something that was talked about right from the beginning, obviously because I had children, but also because Anthony expressed he always wanted to be a father. So by no way, shape, or form was it like, well, maybe we shouldn't be seeing each other because you want this and I don't want that. It was literally just an open conversation. I was very open about the fact that I was pretty much done with that chapter of my life. He was open about the fact that it's something he always wanted, but nothing was like a make or break. As time went on, our relationship developed. I'd say in the last year, the conversation has come up a lot more and a lot more in depth, I guess. And it's funny how things work out, because here we are pregnant. But we were kind of like clashing a little bit because I was going through a lot in life. I lost my father last December. And about a year or two before that, I lost my good friend and my boss to mental illness, which I mentioned in my Instagram post. And so for me, I had a very negative outlook on life. Just like, life sucks. Like, shit happens. I, don't want to go through my own health issues having another baby. I don't want to put that baby through any health issues. I don't want to bring another life into this world of just negativity and bad things that happen. I was just very much like, no, not worth it, not worth it. However, I always said the door was never fully closed, but it was just like open, and that's the tiniest crack to the idea of possibly having a child with Anthony. Because one, I love him and I see him with children, and I know how much he'd be an amazing father and how much joy he would bring to his life. And you know, my girls bring me so much happiness, and although they bring him happiness, there's just that connection you have with a child that you've birthed or given life to or whatever, right? So not to take anything away from any other type of relationship, but it's the reality of things. So I always left the door open, a crack, and I just kind of left it up to fate. If it happens, it happens. This is getting long already. So after I had Olivia, I had an IUD put in, an IUD which lasted 5 years. Last year, it was time for it to come out. And so I went to my OB to get it taken out. And while the lovely OB was in there, I heard, okay, I can't seem to find it. Terrifying. I was like, I'm sorry? Meanwhile, I don't know why, but it's always uncomfortable, obviously. Any woman that's had it done knows when you go for pap tests, anything like that, where they have to like crank you open, it's not comfortable at all. However, I was in so much pain, probably because he's like digging around, TMI, but I was in so much like pain and he couldn't find it, and he needed a secondary tool he wanted to try, but it wasn't in the room. His nurse had to step out to get it. I could not handle the pain I was experiencing. If anyone's had an IUD put in or taken out, it hurts. It hurts a lot. So I said to him, can we please stop? And he said, absolutely, if you're not comfortable, we can stop. I'm just letting you know, without attempting that secondary tool, we're gonna have to go in surgically. Went for an ultrasound to find out where the IUD was. It was broken and lodged into my uterine wall, therefore needing surgery regardless. We planned for to go in surgically and get it removed. It was put under the whole 9. It was removed last December 2019. So now we're giving the universe a little bit more playroom there, right? For fate to kick in and have children. We get engaged, whatever. Come August, I find out I'm pregnant. Super happy, super terrified. And it was just like this mix of emotions. I was excited and I was terrified, and I was like, I'm gonna have another kid. Never mind all of the risk factors. How about you're throwing another kid into life? But, you know, have literally just tried my best to stay positive. Now, my clients specifically, and my friends, will know that for like the past year that the conversation's been happening more and more, I've been very open about my fear of the same thing happening should I have another child. And life is so precious. I've lost too many people now, and to think, specifically parents, both my parents are now gone, to think to myself, my life is at risk for this new child. If something should happen where I leave behind my 2 girls, I can't, like I can't even say it without tearing up. Like, I was left without my parents as an adult, and that was like, it's been very difficult. So as much as it's made me stronger, I always have been, but I'm a very independent person. It is what it is, but it hurts. And knowing you don't have anyone is really hard, especially your core people. So to think to myself, what if something happens to me and these girls have to live the rest of their lives without their mom? Like, I can't do that to them. I will die 1,000 deaths before I even reach a scenario just thinking about it. But these are the things that go through your head. So I have this fear, boom, I get pregnant. Too bad, fuck your fear. This is what's happening. Again, excited, all of that. Now, this whole time I'm worried about my placenta, did not see the foreseeable future coming. So my pregnancy's going along, just like my other pregnancies, a lot of morning sickness, not as bad as the girls, but definitely present. I'm working full time, getting through it, doing what I gotta do. At my 19-week mark, I go in for my anatomy ultrasound. Anyone who has children or knows much about it, it's one of the scans it's one of the ultrasounds you go for. They measure every part of the baby to see the development, uterus, placenta, cervix, blah, blah, blah. That night, I had a kidney stone attack and landed in the hospital. Waking up, or I was trying to fall asleep when it started happening, to those pains, I'm like, here we go, like something's happening. Freaking out, go to the hospital, I'm letting them know all my history, trying to figure out, but kept coming back to most likely kidney stones. Thankfully, that's what it was. I was in so much pain, I swear I was having contractions, and I'm convinced that that triggered my cervix issue. But if it didn't, my anatomy scan would have shown my cervix regardless. But the ultrasound I did for now, the kidney stones in hospital, they noticed my cervix was short. It's called short, which means, so your cervix is a certain length, and the closer you get to delivery, it shortens, becoming eventually nothing, opening, baby comes out. So here I am at 19 weeks and it's measuring shorter than it should. So whether it was the pain / contractions of the kidney stones that stressed my cervix out to shorten it, or it was already incompetent, I don't even know. Doesn't even matter because we are where we are. My OB gets informed about the short cervix. He calls me in for another ultrasound immediately. Not immediately, because I stayed in the hospital for a few days with the kidney stone pain. I think it was like 21 weeks, maybe. Anyway, I go in. He wants an ultrasound done. I do the ultrasound on the spot. I sit in his office. He so kindly walks in and tells me, I'm sending you to the hospital. Your cervix has gotten significantly shorter since the last ultrasound. Already short, now significantly shorter. So at this point, I believe I was reading at 1.6, I think. 1.6. So that's 16 millimeters, and with funneling. So I go to the hospital. I am bawling on my drive there. It's not far. And I go up to the maternity ward, get into triage, and I am now being handed over to what's called the B team at Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto. This is a high-risk team for high-risk pregnancies. I was already considered high risk based on my last delivery. So I go, I meet, another ultrasound, do all the stuff, and I'm then met with the doctor on call who says to me, this is your menu. You're taking all the things on the menu except the last one is a choice. So basically, bed rest, progesterone, suppositories, maybe it was 3 things. I don't even know at this point. It doesn't matter. The last one was what's called a cerclage. So a cerclage, if I'm saying that correctly, is basically where they go in and they stitch your cervix to reinforce it, essentially, and keep it from getting weaker. So here I am, and I'm faced with this decision to have surgery done right now. The way the doctor presented it to me was, you are not in an emergency state right now, so it's up to you. It's up to how you feel about putting yourself at risk for a surgery, which has its own complications, low risks, but still, and given my life, or we do the other items on the menu, see how that goes, and reevaluate. I was really scared and really nervous and was not mentally prepared to have surgery that day. So I said, let's wait. So I go home, I get discharged, I'm doing the progesterone every night, I am on moderate bed rest, and I go in for my following appointment, which is the next week. So now I'm 22 weeks at my checkup and nothing's changed. Great news. It hasn't gone any shorter. It seems like the bed rest progesterone combination is working well. Let's keep it going. I'm like, sure, that's great. Let's keep it going. Next appointment is scheduled for now 2 weeks from then. So I would be 24 weeks. Didn't really sit well with me. And I do have this problem where I just follow the lead of the doctors, which is not a bad thing, but given my experience with a lot of hospitals, doctors, blah, 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 I should have spoken up a little bit, but I didn't. And so fast forward to my next appointment, which was this past Tuesday. I am now 24 weeks, and mind you, I've been on moderate bed rest. I get to my appointment after parking and walking over, so I'm probably doing a lot more activity than I'm used to. I feel terrible, and I'm thinking, okay, I just gotta relax. I just did some walking. This will pass. Was not passing. I started to feel so much tension, tightness, couldn't catch my breath, felt like I was gonna pass out. I waited maybe 30 minutes to see if it would pass, and it didn't. Said something to the nurses. They took me in like that. They're amazing. You know, they calmed me down and they started everything that needed to be done, and my heart rate would not come down, but I was okay otherwise. Did all my scans. My ultrasound comes back at 10 millimeters. So since the last ultrasound, it's now significantly less. Doctor comes in and just informs me, this is where we're at. I'm sending you to the hospital. You're at high risk for preterm labor, and it's in your best interest to do so. Which, by the way, I'm at 24 weeks now. Cerclage is no longer an option. So it's just what it is. And we just have to see how things go. Had I known, unfortunately, I wasn't aware if it was said to me right over my head, but I didn't know that there would be a cutoff point. Because I think if I had known, I would have gone ahead and made that choice. Because there's a sense of security having it done. Even though it's not guaranteed that it's gonna stop things from progressing, it's definitely more secure, and I now don't have that. So it's literally, we gotta see what happens. So off I go again to Mount Sinai, and I'm admitted. I'm not, no triage, nothing. They were ready for me. They admitted me right away. As I'm there, I'm being told, you're basically gonna be in our care for the foreseeable future. We're not comfortable sending you home. You live too far from the hospital. You can go into labor at any time. They gave me steroids to prepare the baby's lungs, bowels. It just strengthens, it speeds up production a little bit should he come earlier. So I'm terrified. Been doing obviously a lot of reading the last weeks, and so I'm thinking worst case scenario, of course. But quickly, I just kind of reshifted my thought process, and I just made the choice to be as positive as I can and just celebrate each small victory. So literally every day that goes by that I don't go into labor, I am super thankful for and ecstatic. I don't want to worry about the what ifs. They are what they are. We just need to get, I think we're aiming for at least 30 to 32 weeks at the very, very least. That being said, let's explain why I'm here right now. So the hospital usually has a dedicated floor for high-risk pregnancies. However, due to COVID, they had to give that floor up. So I'm being told that one of the donors for the hospital, someone who contributes to the hospital, says to them, okay, well, what do you need? How does hotel stay sound? Hospital's like, that works. So there's literally an amazing person in the world who has donated and made it possible for the hospital to house high-risk patients at a nearby hotel so that they don't have to be or put themselves at risk for any emergency situations. Like, when they told me, it's a new program too. When they told me this, I was literally in tears, not like bawling, but I was just so touched that this was even an option and that someone had the generosity to do something like that. So they tell me, you live too far from the hospital. We need you 5 minutes away should anything happen, because I didn't need round the clock care. I wasn't on IV or anything like that. They gave me the steroids. They did what they had to do. Now I'm kind of like, continue with your progesterone, continue with your bed rest, and we just gotta take it day by day. So I'm being told I'm being shipped off or sent to the hotel. Amazing. Until I'm being told that I'm staying here a minimum till I reach 28 weeks and then reevaluate at that point. I'm only 24 weeks. So the thought of removing myself from my whole life, you know, the routine at home with the kids. We don't even know what routine is because we're in quarantine. They're doing homeschooling that first week back. They just got extended another 2 weeks doing homeschooling. I'm like, how is this all gonna work? How is everyone gonna function? And I'm just at some hotel. Like, it's karma, because as moms, we joke about like, oh, I wish I could just, now it's happening. I'm in panic mode, but we're figuring it out. Their dad has been great. He's cooperating, being supportive, and just all three of us are just figuring it out. We're gonna make it work. So here I am at the hotel. I'm finally comfortable. The hospital was serious lockdown. Nobody can come see me. I had to do a COVID test, which I passed, negative. It was like intense just to even get into the hospital. So the fact that now my family can come and see me is huge on its own. I'm a lot more comfortable here, but also I feel super safe and secure knowing I'm just down the street from the hospital. So should anything happen, I'm there in minutes. They're ready for me. Paperwork's already done. They're gonna know what to do. So I'm so grateful and so appreciative of this opportunity. And it's helped put me a little bit more at ease knowing I'm as safe as I could possibly be at this point. There's really nothing else that could be done. So we are just hoping for the best and see where things go. Placenta's looking good. However, it looked good the whole time I was pregnant with Liv until it wasn't. So just day by day, and hoping for the best. So that's my update. That's where I am. I will keep you guys updated as I go. I go back to my high risk team this coming Tuesday. I'll be 25 weeks. And reevaluate at that point. Hopefully nothing's changed. Hopefully I haven't gotten any shorter, and it just hopefully stays that way and for as long as we need it. So I'm okay. Baby's doing great. He's super healthy. He's got a strong heartbeat. He's kicking and moving, and his size looks great. Everything's measuring out well. He's where he should be. It's just a matter of my body slowing down the labor process and just stopping. Just like wait. Wait until we're ready for that time to come, because we're not right now. For the next 4 weeks, I will be here and figuring out life from a distance, whatever that looks like. If you guys have any questions that I didn't really touch on, I rambled a bit, of course, just leave them down below, DM me on Instagram, whatever you want, and I will try my best to answer them. That is where I will leave off for this update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to bring you positive news on the next one. If you want to keep updated a little bit more frequently, feel free to follow me on Instagram, where I will be posting obviously a little bit more, maybe just like little notes, little photos, things like that. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.